Hello guys, welcome to the Magnificent 24/7 pod, our new podcast on United. We'll get into the game and a few topics later on, and let's introduce who we've got in. First, we've got Chase. Welcome, Chase. How are you?
How are we?
Yeah. Did you want to tell people your first memory of United and how you got into United?
I'd probably say the first one, obviously, the treble, Solskjaer, and what a season that was. And just been loving United ever since.
Yeah, similar to mine, but I was quite young for the treble, so I was the 2008 final with against Chelsea near the end. What a game, winning on the pens. So that was my one. Next we have FaZe. Welcome, FaZe. How are you?
Bonjour. Good. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Same question to you. Where did your love for United come from?
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because both my old man and my brother are bin dippers. So I loved United. My first ever memory, and it will stick with me, was 1996 FA Cup final when Cantona scored that volley. And then from then on, I decided I was going to continue to be United fan. I was very young, but it's my first fond memory. So that one always sticks with me.
Yep, great. Next up, we've got Chase. Welcome, Chase. How are you?
I'm Shake.
Shake.
Yes. So yes. Glad to be here as well. It's good to be with you all. First time doing one of these, so very interested to see how this works out, mate.
Yeah. How did you get into supporting United?
Oh, blimey. Mainly family. My dad actually used to work at Old Trafford.
Oh, wow.
But he's a Gooner, sadly. But my grandparents are Man United fans. And they have been for many years when they moved to the country. But fondest memory, it has to be for me the treble season. For me, my fondest.
Yeah. I bet you've had a few messages from your dad then.
Luckily, he's asleep at the moment, so I probably will get them in a few hours when he wakes up.
Yeah, I had one from my manager. I told him he got lucky with VAR. We'll go on to that in a bit. And next we have my co-host for Let's Talk Sport, Boom. How are you, Boom?
I'm good.
Same question to you. How did you get into your love for Manchester United?
Family, pretty much all support United, except for my cousin who gets outcasted for reasons. And my first memory is actually the 2008 final when I fully got into it, because I remember staying up on a school night, watching that penalty shootout with a very dinosaur of a TV. This is back when we didn't have these flat screen TV. It was all just dinosaur things. It only had about 5 channels, but it had RTE2, which
similar to mine, because I watched it at my because I was quite young as well, so 96, as I said. So I watched it at my aunt's house, who passed away a few years ago, bless herself. But she used to be a United fan. Who got me into supporting United when I moved to the country, and I watched her house.
I wish I could say the treble, but I was about like 10 to 11 months old at that point.
Yeah. So, welcome. So we'll start off with the game today. So we'll start with the lineup that Ten Hag picked, and then we will go on to the team. So technical issues, of course, we have on the first episode. Why wouldn't we have technical issues in the first episode? So here we go. Anana, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Dalot, Martinez, Casemiro, Ericsson, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, Anthony, and Martial. Højlund obviously on the bench for his debut. So, guys, what did you think of the lineup to start with? Let's start with you, FaZe.
I'm not going to lie. I was concerned. My lineup had Scott McTominay in there,
Same.
and it also didn't have potentially Anthony in or Martial, either or. So I was looking to what I was going to do is set up the team to be a little bit more compact in the middle and potentially play Bruno out wide, which I don't like, but I understand why he does it now and again. But yeah, just to go back to the original question, what do I think of the team? Slightly concerned, like I say, with the Casemiro and Eriksen duet, which ended up being actually quite assuring. I was worried about Eriksen's legs in there, and like I say, it turned out to be a rather assuring and quite competent performance overall by Eriksen.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Chase?
Yeah, I thought it was. I had a feeling he was going to go with a lineup like this. Obviously, it's the best that he had available. Not a bad start to it. Obviously, Eriksen probably would have been one I would have changed because it can't last that long.
Yeah, I think that is the one surprise, and we still not really know not sure where Scott is, but that was, I think, one of the biggest surprise, him and Sancho not be travelling. But I think a lot of people had Scott McTominay starting in this game.
Yeah, I mean, other than Eriksen, I wouldn't argue with what's on paper.
Yeah. What about you, Sheikh?
I have to say I agree with the comments FaZe and Chase have made. Definitely, I probably would have started McTominay in the central part pairing with Casemiro, and I probably wouldn't have started Anthony or Martial as well. I have to say I'm in agreement with FaZe there. I would probably have given maybe Pellistri a run out and Sancho, but provided that he would have been in the squad, which was a bit of a the same as McTominay, a bit of a random one. Well, a surprise, if you like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Where do we think? Obviously, we'll get into more about Sancho later on, I'm sure, with what's the comments from Ten Hag. But where do we think McTominay is? Do we think he's got a knock, or it's very quiet on what's happened to McTominay? Obviously, he had a few failed moves in the window, which didn't materialise.
I don't think he's in the plans.
So when you say you don't think he's in the plans, do you think he's leaving?
I think he was supposed to leave, and I think we were just saying that we wanted him as a phase, just like Harry Maguire. I don't think that either of them were in the plans. They're just stuck here now.
Yeah, I agree. I've openly said it on Spaces. I'm sure most of you are aware, because most of the people who's coming on this podcast at the moment are from the Twitter Spaces. So keep an eye on there. I was saying I think we should have accepted that 60 million bid for both him, Harry Maguire, and Scott. And
I think somehow we were waiting for some reason. We were waiting for 45 million that we thought we could get for Scott.
I honestly would have said to West Ham, you got Scott McTominay 15 million and undervalue. You pay off Harry Maguire to make the difference up. And I've said that quite a few times. You guys have heard me on Spaces. So, yeah.
My take on the Scott McTominay situation was that out of the midfielders that Erik ten Hag clearly wanted to move on, I felt like he was the last of those. He would have been the one where he wouldn't mind keeping if push came to shove, but certainly wasn't the first one he wanted out the doors, and that was quite clearly evident to me with Fred and Van der Beek being, two of the ones on top of this. I feel like he's still got an important job to play in the squad, but again, that's just
I felt like it was too late in the window to move him, and I think they knew that as well. The later it was getting into the window, it was going to be a lot harder to move him without finding a replacement.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I just generally think we were trying to sell him all summer. Just like
I think it was unrealistic pricing.
So was Maguire to begin with. So we're just asking a bit too much.
I think they were looking for unrealistic pricing on both.
But they expected both to get sold for that, and that's the problem.
Yep. More
I mean, Scott obviously is at least 30 to 35, maybe close to 40. If you're asking for 60, there's no shot that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But this is what Ten Hag is dealt with right now, and I mean, what is he going to do? He's kind of
Yeah.
damned if he does, damned if he doesn't at this point.
Yeah, I agree. So going on to the Arsenal game anyway. 3-1 Arsenal at the Emirates. Very unlucky, I think, in some points. I think some of the decisions by the ref was not ideal. Like that offside on Garnacho. That's
Their
ridiculous.
excuse for that is that the VAR never draws the lines wrong, Jono. It never gets the lines wrong. That was the reason they gave. It never gets the lines wrong, so it's offside.
I think. Look, there's always going to be points into matches with VAR, the ref. I think we need to look beyond that and look at the mentality that we had right after that. Because right after that happened, we conceded. That's the problem. And
yeah, it's the same with the first goal. What a goal by Rashford for the first goal, by the way.
Which, to be fair, that should have never happened.
No, the equalizer in the first one was more of an indictment to the mentality. Their winner that they scored at the end was literally just Maguire and Johnny Evans not covering the space. That has nothing to do with the mentality. That was those two players were not in the position that they should have been in.
But the argument,
but that also comes down to.
That's not due to mentality. That's just own competence.
That also comes down to basically right after we get that call, we should have been on their throats, and we weren't.
We had a good few moments after that where we still were attacking. We were the better team. That we just gave away one corner, and those two were not in their positions that they should have been. And then when they scored that winner, then our heads dropped and they easily got the third because everyone was just in no man's land up at the top, and there was just Evans there for the third goal.
I have to say though, the biggest disappointment for me was going up, taking the lead, and conceding immediately.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I was saying. The first equalizer was a lot worse, in my opinion, mentality-wise, than any of the others.
I agree.
And I feel like that's a big issue with us. We go up and then we concede. When we go up, we need to be on it. Our mentality needs to kick in even more.
And it's the reason why we struggled in our record away at the top 10 is atrocious. And that is the reason.
Oh, horrendous,
Like to be honest,
our home record's amazing, but our away record's shocking.
Honestly, I would have taken a draw.
Oh,
when you're away, you don't want to lose 3 points. You either you go for the draw, and if you're lucky, you get to win. And the home matches win your home matches, and whatever happens on the road, try not to lose 3 points. Get a draw, especially at the Emirates or at the Etihad. In those big matches, you don't want to give up those points. And every time we go up, we concede instantly. Every fucking time. I don't get it.
It's not a coincidence, right? It's a recurring problem. And as Boom said, he couldn't have labelled it any better. It's a damning indictment of our weak mentality. We literally took the lead, and we didn't even get a chance to celebrate the goal, and they were back up the other end and conceded. It's shocking.
Nana was still celebrating. He was still fist.
That was my next point, Boom. It's funny you say that. Do you feel that we were still in celebration mode, head still down, out of focus?
Yeah.
We weren't in the game.
I very much think that they still thought that they were in control of that second, and then
because Anana went calm. Anana was trying to calm down everyone after they.
So sloppy.
And I think that's what Onana brings. He brings that passion, that intensity. Yeah, of course he's going to celebrate because he's full of. You could see what he brings. He brings that passion, but he also brings the calmness. Tries to calm everybody down, get everybody back in shape, and let's do our job. And then that also rests on the back line as well.
And sadly for
Yeah.
him, he got to experience what David had to experience for many years with Maguire coming on and Maguire and Lindelof for most of the game, second half.
And then Maguire and Evans.
Never thought I'd see Maguire and Evans as a centre-back partnership, but it
I
happened.
feel this is where I really feel for Ten Hag is that he doesn't have. He now has to rely on Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans for those backup positions.
Although I will say Martinez didn't leave in a crutch and went to Argentina.
news.
He went with
No, it's
Garnacho
good
for the
news.
Argentina fund. So
Yeah.
he may not be as injured as everyone feared at that moment.
And I felt was Lindelof on the yellow as well.
That's
Lindelof was
correct,
on a
yeah.
yellow. And according to Ten Hag, Lindelof wasn't injured. He was just feeling sick, and that's why he took him off.
I don't know, because there's a video of
I know
after the game.
there's a video of him limping, but according to Ten Hag, he literally only took him off because Lindelof said he was feeling sick.
Okay.
And I feel that was the biggest problem as well in the end of the match was having Martinez and Lindelof on a yellow. So then it left Ten Hag no choice. Okay, we're getting later in the match. We still got to be physical. We got to do this. We got to be on them. Now
And plus, if Lindelof is feeling sick, there's only one. He makes one mistake. He's
so
getting
it's like,
sent off.
and that's where I feel for Ten Hag is the fact that he has to resort to Evans and Harry Maguire because both of our center backs are on a yellow.
Yeah. By the way, anyone in the comments, make sure to get your thoughts in the chat. We've got more listeners on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter tonight, so make sure you get your thoughts on. This will also be on the Sports Social Podcast Network, so on Spotify, Amazon, and all your audio platforms in the next few days. So let us know what you think of the podcast, and yes. So.
I will say also, Onana getting another yellow card for time wasting, 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
When I don't think he was time wasting when he got it each time.
Does that mean he's one away from a ban? It's 3, isn't it?
Is it 3? I thought it was 5.
I thought it was 5.
5.
Usually the thing, yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
But at this record, he's getting it. He's getting banned pretty soon by time wasting, by the looks of it.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the game?
I just felt like in the matter of minutes, it just went downhill so quickly.
There was definitely some good performances in there. Like Ericsson, I thought Ericsson had a good game. A lot of people were questioning about him starting. Obviously, a few of us included.
Anthony had a good defensive game. Maybe not the greatest
I was about to say,
forward, but defensively he was
one of my favorite players in that game. He was awesome defensively.
I think the two best players on the pitch were Dalot and Anthony.
Yeah, Dalot for me. Yeah,
of what they did. I
agree.
mean, if you look at what Dalot did, he had Saka in his pocket all day long. Didn't allow him to get onto his left. I thought Dalot played exceptional today.
He really was exceptional. He kept arguably one of the most informed wingers in his back pocket. And that's a huge plus point. I'm so glad I didn't get to see Sergio Reguilon's debut today. So long may that continue.
I will also say I liked Hoyland when he came on. He did quite good. He's a very pacey person. He's very strong. He kept pushing down over to the floor.
Hoyland for me, just seeing, because once he came on, I really started. I wanted to see what he was going to do, so I just started paying attention to him, his little movements, his strong on the ball, his quickness, how he gets back, how he goes front. And you can see something special in this kid. And
he was slightly let down in some moments by Rashford because Rashford does his normal, like Rashford wants to cut in and shoot rather than there were some moments where it's like Hoyland made the run. If really, you tried to cross it, you might have got there.
What really got me and pissed me off was on that break, you could see Hoyland just sprinting and he had the middle. And instead of Rashford looking up, seeing Hoyland, knowing he can get it to him right in the middle, he just goes at 3 defenders, goes at 3 of them, and then has a go. And 3 are right in front of him.
That's what Rashford needs to learn. Now that if you have a striker like Hoyland, he'll only work if both Anthony and Rashford look up their heads and just see him running and just try to get it to him. Because he's going to make the run every time, Hoyland.
And you could just tell how strong Hoyland is. I mean, he was literally holding off Saliba. and that and holding off Saliba's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to him. I saw what I saw in that game, just the glimpse. I think he's got to start next game. Personally, I think he's like a part of me, like the way he was tracking back to try and get the ball, actually reminded me a bit of Kane. You know, when like Kane will do a lot of work defensively to go back and get the ball as well to drive
That's what
forward.
Højlund did. That's what Højlund does at Atalanta and in Denmark. He will help out defensively and then run himself upwards to try and
But I
be
think
there in the attack.
what massively impressed me with Højlund was quite absolutely threefold, right? Was not only is he 6'3", 20 years old and pacey. I mean, he was literally a magnet to the ball when we went on. He was bullying Saliba, which is no mean feat. And just to point out his deft flick for when we got that goal ruled out was again just perfect, because not only did he play and then just stay stationary, he made a move. He obviously seen Garnacho go forward, so he didn't need to carry on, but he was just really impressive overall, man. Really impressive.
I mean, just being able to free Garnacho. We haven't had a player like that in a long time that could free up our wingers like that, and he did it in just a little touch to Casemiro, and Garnacho's in.
Such a shame that goal got disallowed. What a goal it would have been! It's like, what a break.
Good old VAR, eh? Good old
I
VAR.
still think he was onside, but that's just me.
I do.
However they drew those lines, I don't know what they were seeing, because
Apparently VAR never draws lines wrong. It always that was Sky Studios' excuse with the referee that they bring in.
I think me and Boom might have to use our Let's Talk Sports connections here to get our ref we had on the other day on the United pod.
I'll ask that
through
ref
some of
what
these
he thinks.
decisions. Yeah, I think we might have to try and get him on the pod to see his thoughts.
But just the little things you can see, the little moves he was making, can't say it. Just the little touches, little moves you could see that Højlund was making, and opening up the little channels. You could already see there's going to be something big in there for him, and how he's going to change the dynamic. Him, Anthony, and Rashford are gonna. I feel like once they build that
this
bond,
is a good segment onto the next topic, which obviously is the transfer window. So I think we'll start by going over to each of you and seeing what you think you rate the window. So I'll start with Boom, and then you can say the good and bad about what we've done in this window, and then I'll move it across to FaZe, Jason, and myself. So, Boom, what do you think of the transfer window? What do you rate it out of 10? And what was the good and bad things about the window?
I like the keepers we bought. I like the midfielder, Amrabat. Mount, I'm still 50-50 on at the moment. He hasn't proven, but it's still pretty early, so I'm not going to judge him. I gave Sancho many years, and I'm still giving him this one. It will get to him later. He's not repaying my faith for this year. Then we have Højlund today. Loved him, so that's a good one. Amrabat, I just love in general, so that's going to be a great one.
Looking forward to seeing him.
And yeah, we need other positions that we should have got. Centre back, we really should have got another centre back, as proven by this injury crisis. And Reguilon is just a stopgap till January. I don't mind. Much other people here may dislike it when they get there. We're gonna hear them, but I don't mind the stopgap till January because it doesn't really mean anything to me. I very much doubt he's going to play that much.
I agree.
He's just going to be there. But how do I rate it? Maguire didn't go. He's staying because he didn't get paid enough money for his liking. Scott McTominay's still here. God knows where he is. And there's a few other players that I still don't know where they're going. Eric Bailly. Whereas Donny van de Beek, what's going to happen with him? He's still here.
Yeah.
All these people, it's just very negative
What do you think about?
Maximum, I can only give this window a 6, in my opinion.
What do you
That's a
think about
generous
us
6.
not? What do you think about us not signing a second striker to back up Hoyland as well? Because we all know we can't really trust Martial.
Yeah, but it's the reason we couldn't sell Martial, so Martial has to stay as the second striker. That's the only we could. It goes back to us not being able to sell, which is why I can only maximum give this window a 6 for the signings themselves. But that's a generous 6 based on the signings. It's really a 5 just pushing on the 6 because of Amrabat.
Yeah. What about you, FaZe?
I'm afraid, if you look at it separately on the incomings, then they were relatively good, right? We got 2 midfielders in, we got a top striker in terms of talent, young, hungry, and we got a ball progressive, arguably one of the best in Europe goalkeeper in. So yeah, good in that respect. But I'm afraid you have to tie the two together. And in terms of the outgoings, once again, Manchester United have done Manchester United things. Boom just mentioned it. Eric Bailly's still knocking around the club like a bad smell. You've still got Van der Beek here. And the time it took to get rid of Henderson, the time it took to get rid of all these other players, and lo and behold, allegedly we're under FFP regulation, so we could have got more in. A centre back was absolutely crucial. Again, you don't need these games to show you that, but this was another damning indictment of where we're at in terms of centre backs. So the regular one, look, an injury, 2 injuries to one position happens. I get it. I haven't got a major issue with it. I don't rate him, but I get it. However, I think overall, when you marry the outgoings to the incomings, I'd say 5 at the very best.
Yeah. What about you, Sheikh?
I have to agree with both what the gentleman said, and again, for me, I mean, yeah, I do like the Amrabat deal. It's a shame that we didn't get him earlier in the window and on a perm. I think it would have benefited today's game massively. Onana, yes. Altay, I mean, it's come from the Turkish Super League. I do follow that league, and he's okay. He's young. He's good. At least we've got a second keeper in. We've had a few good ones go out, so we've had some money clawed back for wages, which is great. But I have to agree with FaZe as well. I'm not too keen on the Reguilon deal. I get it. It's only going to be till January, but we've replaced a injury with an injury-prone player. He's good going forward. He's not that great defensively, so I'm not really keen on that one, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I will save my full comments probably for later in the topics for the rest of the podcast, I think, without going off on a tangent, if you like, mate.
Fair enough. What about you, Chase?
Oh, yeah, I pretty much kind of agree with everybody here. I mean, we didn't get a backup striker, which we needed. We didn't get a center back. The outgoings is the biggest issue here. Not getting them out in a timely fashion in the window, leaving it late, and not getting what we really needed in Amrabat. Yes, we needed that. Great. Great to bring him in. Didn't like the timing, leaving it on the last day of the window. But obviously, this window is obviously, Glazers doing Glazer things and how this club is being run. And I mean, Reguilon, stopgap, obviously, just to paper over the cracks so we can get Shaw and Malacia back. Goalkeeper, amazing job to get him in. Mount, I still have faith in what he can do for us. Obviously, there's a reason why he's here. So I would probably rate this window probably about a 4 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm similar. 5 to 6, similar to Boom. Some of the incomings I'm really happy with. Onana, I love David De Gea, but it was time to go. Get a new modern goalkeeper in that fits the manager system. I think the leadership that he brings as well is massive. Amrabat, it took a while, but loan with an obligation to buy, so we finally got him in. I think that will be massive for the team and the way Ten Hag wants to play, because only having the one player in proper DM in Casemiro, as good as he was last year. And I think Boom's got a statement to read, which we'll go on to in a minute. And yeah, so that's, again, great signing. Hoyland looks really promising. I think we could have, I was quite open. I wanted Harry Kane as well as him. I think a lot of us were. So I would have liked Kane as well, but I'm really happy with Hoyland. The backup keeper, I'm happy with that. So overall, with the incomings, I'm quite happy. I wanted probably another centre back and striker, same as everyone else, but the outgoing is just not good enough. How is some of our deadwood still here after years? Same problems United had for years. It's part. The recruitment team needs to seriously improve when the new owners come in, which we'll go on to in a bit. But Boom, did you have a statement to tell us about Sancho?
Yeah, for Sancho, he obviously heard me when I said he hasn't been repaying my fate, because he instantly made a statement. So good on you, my buddy Sancho. He said, "Please don't believe everything you read. I will not allow people saying the things that is completely untrue. I have conducted myself in training very well this week." Then why weren't you picked because of training, my friend? But anyway, I believe there are other reasons for the matter that I won't go into. I've been a scapegoat for a long time, which isn't fair. All I want to do is play football with a smile on my face and contribute to my team. I respect all decisions that are made by the coaching staff, and I play with fantastic players, and grateful to do so, which I know every week is a challenge. I will continue to fight for this badge no matter what.
It's interesting, that. It's very interesting.
Ouch.
Yeah,
bitterly disappointing, that is, because that seems like the beginning of the end now.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
now,
I think him making that statement, he's gone. I think he's out. I think he knows he's done. And
claiming that he's been the line that I've always been a scapegoat is very.
Yeah, but it depends on what way you look at it. I mean, the fans are very critical of him, and they have been for the last year.
Yeah.
So, scapegoat on bad performances. I mean, he does get ridiculed. I mean, you could probably compare him. Well, I don't think.
But the fact that the main issue here is that Ten Hag said he didn't select him because he wasn't showing standards.
Yes.
In training.
So
and it completely says he has been doing well in training. So I don't know.
See, now this is what I was saying to the gents before, right? That it was very out of character for Ten Hag. It was almost distasteful, right? And now it's come out, and we've almost got like a slandering match going on a he said, she said. This isn't true. That isn't true. So Ten Hag, potentially based on this statement, has now come out and lied. And there's other reasons as to why that's going on. But yeah, I love Sancho, and I have done, and I was really glad when we signed him. Really glad. I really rate Sancho. I think deep down there is a real talented footballer there. He's still young, and he's blessed. He's been through it. I would be gutted if we let him go. Gutted.
I just have that feel. As I was saying earlier before we started this club, what's happening is it's getting to a boiling point with each and every person in this club, from the higher ups, and now it's trickling down to the manager and now the players and the dressing room. And I think it's getting to a point where it's a boiling point, and it's going to pop very, very soon.
That Sancho comment to me screams very similar to, without the interview part, the Ronaldo situation when it got to international.
100%. I was just going to say that, and just to add to that, it's embarrassing. Whatever's happened, if he's not performing in training, we need to deal with it internally. When did we become this club that airs all our dirty laundry out to the public? I mean, now, as you've correctly said, it's going to be a he said, she said situation, and everyone else will be opinions on it.
And what's very weird about this is it is very, very out of character for Ten Hag. But this is
Ten Hag usually keeps these all quiet. He usually
And-
just says
Yeah,
everything's
exactly.
fine.
When did he ever slander Ronaldo? Right, he never did.
And I think that's why I'm saying we're gonna see something happen here, and it's inside the dressing room. You could see it's reaching another boiling point to where it's just not going to end well with people that are involved. It's not. You can see it. It's already happening at this moment in time with what Ten Hag is saying, very out of character. And now Sancho comes out and says this. Something's, and we've been saying this for a while. You could just see the chemistry in that squad is falling apart with each and every one of them. And I think it's trickled from. I think it's gone from up top, and now it's trickling down to every person in that club.
But the question's got to be asked, and I'll be very quick because I appreciate we've got other topics to cover. Is this now looking like, and look, you guys, most of you guys obviously on Spaces, you know where I sit on Sancho. I think he's incredibly talented. He's a great player. I'm afraid he just doesn't fit what Ten Hag's trying to build at Man United. We had the whole of this summer to sell one of our biggest assets. Did Ten Hag say, I don't want Jadon a part of my plans, can you find a seller? And they just flat out turned around and said no. And hence why all this is built up. Now, is that a scenario maybe? I don't know.
But that would be similar to what a few years ago when we were trying to sell Martial, and there was a story that the Glaziers rejected that because they view Martial as similar to like the big name players. They're kind of like marquee.
I believe it was
like
Joel Glazer's favorite player.
But I also feel like these players have an entitlement, like they have power to go ahead and make statements, and instead of, and I said this weeks and months ago as well, we need to keep this internally. It needs to stop leaking out in the fucking media. It really does. It's not good for your image, your self-image. It is not good for the club's image. Keep it inside. Stop making these statements and stop listening to your agents, whoever's telling you this. Oh, we should make a statement. No, you shut the fuck up and you keep it in house with whatever disagreement that you have. And if Ten Hag is feeling some sort of way about it, I back the manager. I back what he says, no matter what these players say.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what we need to do. We back the manager.
It's not the first person who said something about his attitude.
And if he wants to come out with this statement, then leave.
Yeah.
You don't.
Where's he gonna go? The window shut. Unless he's going to Saudi.
But this is what doesn't add up to me, though, right, John? This is what doesn't make any sense to me at all. We had the whole of the summer, and now suddenly Ten Hag saying, well, he didn't train well before this game, and therefore he's come out in the press after a high-profile game to say he hasn't trained. It just doesn't add up to me. Is this Ten Hag lashing out? Is this him saying, well, I asked for you guys to get rid of him in the whole of the summer. I could have had a lot more fun to deal with, and you didn't, and now here you go. Here's the mess you have to deal with. It just something doesn't feel right to me at all.
Well, if you think about it, two-phase, there's a reason why he has not started. I think we all got to think about that too. He has not started this season. He's barely got playing time. So there's something there that Ten Hag.
There's also something in the Palestri room because Palestri was on his way on. He was going out alone, and then Ten Hag cancelled it. So
there's something in that line that Sancho is doing that Ten Hag does not agree with, does not like. And you know what? If Sancho is going to behave like this, he's been given chances by Ten Hag. Ten Hag went out of his way to bring him to have him go all the way to the Netherlands to get himself right, get him mentality right, and get back to match fitness. So there's something going on here. And if he's going to act this way, then by all means he can leave, because we're not going to keep doing this with players. We need to stop. Something needs to happen to stop this. These players need to stop feeling entitled. They have the power. They have this. They have that. Fuck that. This is Ten Hag needs to have that power.
I agree. Moving on, takeover. Where do we stand on the takeover? Obviously, there's a lot of rumours now the window's closed that we will hear some sort of stuff. We've had a few reports the last few days. Obviously, there was the BS from the Daily Mail that everyone jumped on last night when we've all said in the spaces, unless it's Bloomberg, Reuters, and people like this, financial experts, not to believe the English media. But everyone jumped on the Daily Mail report last night, which has already been shut down, which we knew it would be. Where do we stand on the takeover? I think we all think it's going to happen soon, but where do we stand? I'll start with you, Sheikh.
Something has to happen, no? Nothing changes unless it does. You asked me who I want. I think it's pretty evident. I've spoken in spaces on who I'd prefer. Yeah, it can't come soon enough. I think that's now the primary focus.
To people who aren't here, are we who don't follow the spaces? Are we all on the same page as Qatar? I know I am.
I am Qatar. I'm favouring Qatar. It's a full sale. The investment in the club structure, the development and training facilities, investment back into Old Trafford, if that's the case. I mean, there is a lot of work to be done on the club and the team as well, inside and outside, top to bottom. These things are going to take time, and I think with a proper structure, we can get to where we want to be again.
Yeah, I 100% agree. What about you, Chase?
As I've said, you've obviously been in the spaces where all the information that I have gotten on this takeover, that I do get on this takeover, it will happen. It has been agreed, and it's been a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
And obviously, I have been told there will be something this month in September. I don't have the date, but there will be something. But
I'm going by the Neil Custis report that said.
But just know. Oh, sorry, Jono.
Yeah, I'm going by the Neil Custis report that said you'll hear something September for completion in October. And I'm only going by that because he has got, I know he works for The Sun, and we do say about the English media, but he has got connections to the club, and he has got a lot right in the past. He's probably the only journalist I would believe on it.
Well, and some of the things that he has said, he does know somebody. That somebody in that club has told him something that knows something.
It's like he has connected because he used to be good friends with Ed Woodward, so he stayed connected. So through Ed, he got connections with United and kept those connections with United.
But I do have to say, just put your minds at ease, everybody. Just you just gotta relax, because it's just a matter of when now. It has been a matter of when for a long time. Obviously, these deals like this take a long time to do. Some deals take more than what we're at right now. So
exactly. We keep saying on space, like, look at a lot of people try and compare it just because it's done by the Rain Group. They compare it automatically go to Chelsea. That's a completely different situation because that was forced on by the government. This is more similar to the Newcastle takeover that took 18 months.
Well, and what people also got to realize as well is you don't bring in the Rain Group for investment, to find investment. You bring in the Rain Group to sell. This is what the Rain Group does. This is what they specialize in. You don't bring them in to help you find investment. You bring them in to help you sell. So
the thing is why we're getting these negative reports because the media it's pretty much radio silent at the moment. Like you said, it's a matter of when, not if at this point. But like because it's like that, the media is not really getting any information at the moment. So therefore, they're just trying to write about the takeover without any really takeover news.
Well, one thing also people got to realize as well here is that they're not going to say a word to the Western media because the Western media has attacked them through this entire phase of the way it started. As soon as Qatar was announced in this process, they've attacked them. So people got to also realize why would anybody from this process, especially on Qatar's side, say a word to the Western media?
Yeah, exactly. But what I also like with newspaper kind of thing, because I have a diploma in sports journalism, so the person who taught me basically told like in newspapers, they are certain newspapers from the person that taught him basically said they are told write a story about United, even if it's fake, it will get us people to read the rest of our articles. Like that's just a well-known thing in the industry. Find something to write about United.
Oh yeah, it'll get you traction. It'll get you traction immediately.
For the rest of your stuff, like you just write the one from United, they'll view the rest of your paper that you wrote from there.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Vase?
I'm fairly outspoken on this matter, as you'll know. I just want this club to be sold. Of course, we all want the Glazers out as Man United fans. Fact. At this stage where I'm at, I don't care if it's Ineos. I don't care if it's Qatar. They both present different scenarios. I completely concede that. I know Qatar at face value will give us the quickest elevation to where we need to go. Ineos, allegedly will keep in the Glazers, but ultimately not in control. So again, I would take that because I'm absolutely desperate. I'm desperate for this football club to succeed and get back to where we think we belong. And it's a real sad state of affairs now when you've got fans that would just take anything. And it's what they've created and it is all on them. But I mean, to go back to the question before I turn this into an emotional plea, do I think it's going to happen? I do think it happens, but I don't know when it happens. I think there's still a scenario, very small percentage. I think there's still a scenario that the Glazers stay in control for a year or 2 years because I wouldn't rule it out. But ultimately, a lot of the guys on Spaces know more than me and involved in things that are in the right circles and they're confident. So I'll ride that wave that I do think.
Well, if you believe reports now, they've not Ineos haven't come out saying they're out. But all the journalists are saying it's Qatar or Glazer stay.
But like the guys say, right? There's NDAs. You're not talking about an acquisition of a chip shop or a house. This is a multi-billion-pound acquisition, and it's going to take time. And there are very, very strict NDAs. So we can't do anything. We've just got to keep on putting the pressure on the Glazers and hope eventually they leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you want to have a sad moment, we can make the thing go black and white. We could put on some rain effect. We could put some sad music and we do for a small donation of £1.99. You too can get FaZe a new home.
Maybe play a little violin.
I back that, by the way.
Maybe play a little violin for FaZe. Get him a cup of tea.
Exactly. Is everyone making sad statements on his behalf before it goes to zoom in on?
It's almost like an obituary.
At first, we'll play the violin, get him a cup of tea, and then probably about an hour later, we'll pop out the champagne and throw a party.
Let's do it.
So, moving on to more joyful things than those clowns in charge of our club. September fixtures after the international break. So we've obviously got the international break now. I'm sure England will try and let us down again.
If you want to talk about let down, I have to watch Ireland.
Yeah, but
play France and the Netherlands, so that's going to be a major letdown.
At least you've got Evan Ferguson, mate.
Yeah, before we move on, we need him. I want him in the summer. I want him that summer before we move on to the next games. What a player!
That'll definitely cost us a nice 90 to 100 mil for that kid.
No. They're quoting 200 mil, man. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it won't
That would be our striker partnership for the next 10 years though with him and Hoyland.
Just get the shake in. We spend 200 million on just a man from Bettystown up the road there, you know.
Yeah.
Shake, you heard him.
Don't you? We'll call up Granddad. It'll be all right.
Yeah. So going on to
Words there by Shake.
going on to the games after the international break anyway. So we've got some hard games coming up. So our next game is Brighton, funny enough, against Ferguson.
Childhood Man United fan back at Old Trafford. You love to see it.
I think that match. I think that match is going to be a good match. I think we'll have the rest.
I'm glad we're at home because our home record is amazing. It's our away record.
But the last team in the league to beat us at home was Brighton.
It's very true. Yes.
Is it 31 or 32 games now at home where I'm beaten? Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, what do we think about the Brighton game, guys?
Very tough game.
Every game's a must-win now. If we'd come out of this game with a point or a win, of course, then it's still pressure, but we're looking pretty. Now we've put pressure on ourselves. So if you look at just the Brighton game, yes, they're a very good team, incredibly impressive on the ball, off the ball, lovely to watch. But we're at home. We've got to aim for nothing but 3 points. Simple as that.
It's probably going to be Ansu Fati's debut as well. What a signing that was.
Just adds to the plot at Old Trafford.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the one game I'm genuinely worried about.
I think it'll be a crucial game for us at home. I think we have the advantage, obviously, being at home. I think we'll see Amrabat make his debut. Personally, I think Amrabat next to Casemiro is going to change a lot of things for us.
I think Hoyland will start as well.
I think Hoyland is definitely going to start. So I think we're going to see some good changes. I think we'll see a lot better football with Amrabat and Casemiro next to each other. I think Casemiro will have more of upgoing free roll, and Amrabat will sit back and clean things up.
Yeah.
I hope you're correct because literally the Brighton game, the first one back, is the one game I'm worried about.
Yeah, I think that's one game where we need to jump right back on it and get a good result, get 3 points in the bag at home.
Because we need to be at 100%. Because we show up like 50% against Brighton, we're losing.
Yeah,
we cannot show up after this nice little break and just fall like picks. We can't do that.
Especially then after that midweek, we're playing Bayern Munich, so we need a result against Brighton.
Yeah, we need to come out. We need to come out strong, and I think we will. I think a nice break for the lads is a good thing, and it also gives Amrabat a little bit of time to get settled in, and him and Casemiro.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good partnership.
Bruno.
Yeah. I think it takes less pressure off Mount as well, so Mount can rotate with Bruno then. I mean, Bruno doesn't have to play 60 games a season like he has last year.
Also allows Eriksen to rotate with Bruno too, because I think Eriksen's as Bruno, they like to both create. Eriksen does come back a bit, but like Eriksen, really, we saw him today in today's game. He does like to create more than sit back.
Yeah. I think having Amrabat is going to be key. I think getting him was really key so that Casemiro could have a free roll going upward a little bit, and Amrabat cleans things up. I think that's going to be very crucial to watch, and I think Brighton is a very, very crucial game coming back.
I saw a stat on Amrabat. He's in the 1%, the 1% of best players for progression the ball.
Yeah,
in Europe.
I think that's a match that can bring us back into the light, get the spirits up, and make a go at it till January. But I think Brighton is a crucial game because if we lose that game at home,
We're in big trouble, mate.
We are in
Yeah,
serious
and then
trouble.
we have the
We're
easy one.
falling
Bayern
very far
Munich.
behind very early in the season. It's not good.
Yeah, and then then
I
we
mean,
go.
the very easy game, Bayern Munich away.
Yeah, we got
Munich away.
Bayern next.
Very easy game.
I'm glad we're getting the hardest game of the group done first, the away game at Bayern.
I don't
What do
think
you
that's
guys
the
think?
hardest game in the group, personally.
No,
I think Galatasaray away
it
is
is on
harder.
paper. Galatasaray is the most hostile in the group.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a tougher game,
Yeah,
personally.
because of how hostile the Galatasaray
Just
atmosphere
because of
is.
the environment, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What do you guys think? Other people think of the Bayern game?
As a famous Arsenal fan who's now passed away said, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear, but I know Chase has done it, but we're fucked.
Listen, I already put the first game in the Champions League down to a 5-0 loss on my if I'm lucky. It's only going to be
It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
a respectable 5-1. I don't get.
Well, look, with Højlund playing, with Amrabat in, there's a chance that we catch Bayern Munich off on a bad day, right?
What you're telling me, a respectable 4-0, then we catch them on a bad day.
Okay, 4-2, and then Arne gets in a couple of assists.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to jump ahead to Bayern Munich because I want to focus on that Brighton match. I think that's crucial to how we play. I think the Brighton match, coming back at home against Brighton, I think this is the match where they need to show us what they're made of. Bring themselves
But
back.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that game is what you need to win that game to give some momentum to go to Bayern away. You can't go to Bayern away on 2 losses.
Yeah,
definitely. We they need to show us something. They need to show us the intensity and fight and bring them. Can they bring themselves back into the light? Can they show something?
Definitely. And then the last game is Burnley. Not start the season great. Company, ready rumours of Company being under pressure already, which I think is a bit out of order. But
mega mind.
After what he did last season, but Burnley.
I think it's generally because Burnley. Many people predicted them as to be the promoted team that would, do what other promoted teams have done, like Forest and so forth. They'd stay up, but so far this season they've really not looked the greatest. Even when taking the lead against Spurs, they then capitulated to concede 5. And they just about beat Forest in the cup. And they really their opening fixtures have not been too kind to them, but like they really, after the international break, they play Forest, so they may be able to pick up a win there for themselves. But I really don't see Burnley until you get to the end of October. I don't see Burnley picking up points, so I think it should be an easy win. If we don't come out with that with 3 points, I think major questions need to be put on the squad for that one.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone got any other takes on the Burnley game?
I can't disagree really with what Boom said. I think ultimately, look at it at face value, we need to be winning those games. Simple as that. End of story. But yeah, we've got a couple of more important games prior to that. But going into the Burnley game, you need to be just routine win is what comes to mind in vocabulary really, which is something that we haven't necessarily got.
I mean, at this point in stage, I mean, it's hard to have confidence playing against anybody right now the way we're playing. We cannot lie and deny that. It's so hard just to see any confidence with how we're playing at the moment and the mentality. I think the mentality is the biggest thing here, especially.
We've seen individual positives, but as a whole, they hasn't come together as a jigsaw just yet.
I feel like when something goes wrong in any point in the match, something goes wrong, someone puts their head down, someone whines, and then it just unsettles everybody. Everybody's in the same wavelength. I think that is the problem. That needs to stop. We need to pick our heads up. Everybody needs to pick our head. Every one of them on that pitch need to pick their heads up and keep it driving forward instead of just putting their heads down, whining, bitching, all that. That needs to stop.
I agree.
We also have an issue at the end of September where we play Crystal Palace back-to-back, which can be a banana skin, playing a team back-to-back. I never like playing a team
Of
back-to-back.
course, yeah. Got them in the Carabao Cup, haven't we?
Yeah.
Premier League.
I never like playing a team back-to-back in a week.
I mean,
Yeah.
even though we have them at home, it's just so hard to even trust and have that confidence at home anymore. Even though, yeah, we're 20 games unbeaten at home, it's just the body language.
Especially after that Forest game made me panic at home.
Just the mentality of the squad. You could just see the body language. Their bodies are down.
Yeah, for example, like if we take Jason, we take that like Forest game. Say if we did that start again like Brighton, if we concede 2 to Brighton, we're not coming back. And the Forest you can come back with, but like a Brighton, you're not coming back with 2 goals down that early.
Yeah. We do that against Brighton. We're looking at a 3-4, 4-5-0 match to Brighton.
Yeah,
and that's what needs to be fixed. Even if we go down 1-0 to Brighton, that's where we get our feet stuck in, put your heads up. And that also goes on the leaders of this squad.
Yep. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the first Magnificent 24/7 Reds podcast. Thanks for coming on, guys. Chase, Shake, FaZe, Boom, and myself. We will be back next week with different people. We're going to rotate the guests every week. Hopefully, I will be joined by Jody next week as well. He couldn't make it in the end today, which is a shame, but I'm sure he'll be here next week. And make sure you drop us a follow on all our platforms. We're currently live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We're part of the Sports Social Podcast Network, which I'm glad to be working with again. Make sure you check them out, and they've got loads of different podcasts on different clubs, different sports. Make sure you check them out. We're also on all audio platforms. And this has been the Magnificent 24/7 podcast.
You got me loose and set me free. You make me win.